from our island last year, Prof.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
You have
Still
1,000 different islands.
Yeah. But still at the Thousand Island Regency.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year we went to Tidung Island by Prof. Yeah, but this year, just last week, we went to Pari Island.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, Prof. Okay, everybody, are you all ready to listen to Professor Song Sulim? Dauda? Dauda, are you ready, Dauda?
Yes, please.
All right. Yes, Prof. We this year summer course we have actually we have 106 students, but
Wow.
now you know 22 only 22 students connect today. Maybe
Okay.
they will connect later on. And you can see here we have quite a lot of students from Africa, from South Asia, and then of course from Indonesia, quite a lot. And we have also student from US, Prof. Frankie, from Oregon State University. And then most of these African and South Asia students, they studying in UIII, University of International is what is okay?
Universitas Islam International Indonesia.
Yeah, no, in English.
Yes,
English.
International Islamic University Indonesia.
Islam, okay. International Islamic University of Indonesia, Prof. Yeah. Do you know that university, Prof?
Yeah, I know. Because last year a couple of students came from there.
Yeah, right. And this year, Prof, that we have around 50 something 50 something students come from UI3, and we brought 20 students to the Pari Island, Prof.
Okay.
20
Great.
UI3 students. All right. Okay. Everybody, we have Professor Song Solim today. He is the professor at the College of Life Science and Biotechnology, Department of Food and Resource Economics, Korea University, the Republic of Korea, of course, South Korea, not North Korea. And interesting is Professor Song Sulim has so many research experience in Indonesia. And last year, Professor Song Sulim, we went together with Prof Lim to Tidung Island, yeah, with another two professors from Australia. And Professor Song Sulim also planting mangrove, yeah, Prof, yeah? Yeah,
Nice.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that photo, Prof. You and all of us planting mangrove. Maybe after your lecture, I will show off your photo planting mangrove
Okay.
to the students. All right. Yes, Prof. That timing is yours. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Would you allow me to share the screen?
Yes, Prof. Yeah.
Hold a second.
Yes, no problem, sir. Yeah. Our students is mostly master students now, Prof. And some PhD students also. And the rest is bachelor students.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Melinda, can you upload my file from there?
Yes. Mas
I have
Arif. Yeah, I'm asking Mas Arif, the host of this Zoom. Mas Arif, bisa tolong bisa tolong allow Prof. Song Sulim untuk share PPT-nya, Mas?
Udah, Bu. Udah.
Sudah ya? We did, Pak Prof. Maybe you can try once again. If you can't do that, we will share your screen. Yeah, we will share your PPT, Prof.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so hot here. Is it, Prof? Maybe we share your PPT, Prof.
Yeah, I have some security. I'm using the different computer now, so we
Okay.
have some security conflict here.
Okay. Then let's me try to. Mas Arif udah punya kan? Mas Arif bisa ini share screen, Mas Arif? Share PPT-nya Prof. Song Sulim yang tadi pagi aku kirim ke Mas Arif.
Tapi ada kegiatan lain, Bu.
Kenapa? Oh, masih ada kegiatan lain. Oke. Then let me try. Wait a minute. Let's try to. Okay. Right. Share screen. Okay, this is it. Okay, everybody, can you see? All right. Here you go, Prof.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. As Marinda introduced, my name is Song Soo from Korea. We stay in Seoul. This summer is very unusually hot here, and so it's like a semi tropical weather patterns we see in this
Really, Prof?
country.
How hot is that, Prof? In Celsius degree?
I'm sorry?
How hot is that in degree Celsius?
Now it's at 32, 33 Celsius.
Whoa, that's quite hot. Yeah.
It's very warm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And now this topic is about the sanitary and phytosanitary measures, SPS measures. We are working on this topic this summer, and we plan to have an international conference regarding on this SPS impact on international trade for food products or agriculture products in Tokyo, Japan, the end of September. So we will hold this international conference with the Asia Development Bank Institute. So we will generate proceedings after that conference. I hope I can share that information with Melanie later on. So today, I want to go over this topic, the Korea-Indonesia SPS-related trade dispute case studies, and I hope I can mix some of those Korean wave, like a ramen, instant noodle, some Korean K-food issues in Indonesia, and there are legal, some challenges regarding those marketing and those market access to Indonesia. Okay, when I finish my presentation, probably that it would be the typical way to do. I hope you can give me the questions or comments on this issue. You can also, that is not feasible today. The bottom of this slide, first slide, has the email address, songsu@koreaac.kr. You can contact me. I'm willing to share or listen to your comments. Okay, now next slide. So today's course is basically the SPS-related trade dispute between Korea and Indonesia. And we want to understand those basic concepts of these SPS measures and those relevant, institutions, laws, and regulations in Indonesia. Then we'll go into these case studies. I picked three major trade dispute between Korea and Indonesia's food products regarding on this the SPS issues. Then lastly, I want to discuss what policy implication we can derive from these case studies. Next, please. Okay, so definitions and the WTO principles, because trade issues, we have to comply with WTO principles and regulations, because that could be applicable to all trading countries as member countries of the World Trade Systems. So we will go over quickly those major principles of WTO regarding on SPS. We have especially designated legal the document agreement, so-called SPS agreement, under the umbrella of WTO legal system. So we'll go over that principle. Then, as I said, SPS institutions, laws, and legal background of Indonesia, case studies, and policies. Yes, next, please. All right, what is the SPS? Sanitary and phytosanitary measures include, those measures that are relevant for protecting human, animal, or plant life and health, arising from those the past disease, contaminants, toxins, or disease-causing organisms. So WTO SPS agreement, they set out those rules, how to manage or how to control those spread of those potential the risk. And so that is a protection of the human, environment, and animal health. And it includes product standard production method. Okay, I want you to give your attention to this word. You see scope of application. I said processing method. What is a processing method? Okay, we can divide the final products versus the processing method. Well, as you know, even the final products we use this jargon like products. They are exactly the same. They are same appearance, same taste, same looking, and same colors. But their processing method could be quite different. One of a good example would be conventional products versus organic products. Conventional products, organic products, they are similar in shape, looking, even the taste. You can taste organic cabbage versus, conventional cabbage. They taste the same, but obviously their production methods are quite different. So we can argue that even though the final products are similar or same, or they are like, can you differentiate those products when you're trading those two different types of goods? That has been long debated in the WTO systems and other international forums. So we can apply this kind of argument not only organic versus, the conventional products, but also we can know that as most of you are the specialist, like environmental products, whether one product is produced by polluting the environment versus the other products is produced by environment friendly method. Can you discriminate those two products in international trade? There is one argument. Also, another challenging topic regarding this issue is, can you discriminate genetically modified products versus non-genetically modified products. The nutrition value is exactly the same. Their shape is the same, color, taste are same, but processing methods are different. We call them as product-specific production and processing method. So this SPS issue is very similar. So we want to look at there's a potential, the harmful effect from those risks from for food cases, additives, contaminants, like a disease causing pest or some other organism. So that is the scope of this SPS agreement. Well, this SPS principle have a dual nature. While serving legitimate health protection objectives, SPS measures can potentially functions, as non-tariff barriers. Sometimes, this SPS measures, is known to be, disguised protectionism, especially from the eyes of developing countries. The developed, the rich countries, SPS measures, tend to deter those developing countries' market access. So we can count SPS measures as a legitimate, objective, but sometimes, country have some incentives to overuse or misuse these SPS measures to protect their domestic market from the exporting countries. So, as one of the significant non-tariff barriers or measures, this SPS measures has a significant impact on international trade. Next, please. So what are the key principles of WTO agreement? Number one, this SPS measures based upon scientific principles and evidence. So you have to demonstrate that, Korea maintain these SPS measures based upon scientific principles to support the human health or plant health and the safety. So this evidence basis, the measure is very, very important for that. Otherwise, countries may misuse these SPS measures to protect their domestic market. And to justify, to exercise this scientific principle, the countries have to use so-called risk assessment. Okay, risk assessment. This is very local specific, geographic, specific issues. So Australia, New Zealand, even though they are neighborhood countries, they may have their own appropriate level of protection. We call it appropriate level of protection. Allo, if you look at the first line here, appropriate level of protection. ALOP, allo. We call it allo. So New Zealand's protection level, Australian protection level can be different because this disease risk is local specific. It's a country specific or the location specific. So the WTO allow this country specific, local specific at the appropriate level of protection. So every country can adopt different level of protection based upon scientific principles, because climate change, climate conditions are different, soil conditions, that other atmosphere could be different across locations and countries. So each countries have their sovereignty in the SPS measures standard or setting. And another important principle is harmonization with other international standard. Not only WTO's SPS agreement, we see some other international standard regarding food safety, like a Codex Alimentarius or animal health, World Organizations for Animal Health. French name was OIE, and plant health, like International Plant Protection Convention, like IPPC, like that. So we have a multiple international standard. So the WTO systems, they ask the countries to consider all those recognized international standards together and harmonize their measures accordingly. So we need to appreciate, recognize those harmonization with the international standard. You have domestic law, domestic regulation. This domestic law and regulation regarding on the food safety, animal safety, and human health, that should be also comply with international standards, such as this WOAH Codex IPPC. Okay, transparency principle. You have to notify your SPS measures as soon as you find them. For example, you have avian influenza for poultry products. You have to report those AI outbreak to the WTO system. So the other countries can immediately, they have this information and they take relative precautionary measures for that. So this you have to report those SPS measures to WTO and other institutions. And finally, we have countries should recognize those different measures to achieve same ALOP, and they also understand the what pest-free, disease-free reasons. So we call it, this is what, like Indonesia. Indonesia have 100,000 island. So if there is one disease AI in one island, this AI is not necessarily effective on all country in Indonesia. If Indonesia protect the AI, the outbreak location, and they have quarantine measures, then other area is safe or AI free one, then probably the Korea, when we import poultry products from Indonesia, we recognize those AI disease free the area, so we can continue to import from that region. So that is a regionalization. Okay, we can restrict those quarantine measures on the specific area, and these quarantine measures are safe and effective, then other regions, disease-free regions, can be engaged in international trade as before. Okay, I list up just a few principles, but you can get into the further reference to find out every detail of those agreements. Next slide, please. So Indonesia's SPS institution, probably you know more than what I know. So I just go over quickly about those basic structure framework of Indonesia's SPS institution. Ministry of Agriculture, Barantan, has, they have a oversight with this risk issues, and Ministry of Marine Affairs for fishery products, they are responsible for fish quarantine. And we have food products, like food safety issues, Food and Drug Monitoring Agency, PPOP, we said PPOP, they are in charge of all those administration, like e-registration portal, labor system, hygiene certifications, things like that, permit like that. Also, Indonesia has a national standardization agency, and CAN. They develop so-called national standard. So national standard and national accreditation body, aka KAN, they handle this certification and body accreditation. And another important the agency, maybe this agency is not common to all countries in the world, so-called Halal Product Assurance Agency. It used to be Indonesian Ulama Council, but now we refer to the BPJPH under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. They oversee halal product certification and assurance. I will talk about this agency later on. Next, please. And what is the key laws about this food safety or SPS related, the measures? Like a food law in 2012, also Indonesia has a quarantine law established in 2019. There's a standardization law, it's 2014. Lastly, they have a halal law, and these regulations and laws, they oversee those food safety issues and some labeling standard quality issue as well. Next slide. Another recent development of these SPS measures in Indonesia is so-called e-registration system. As the E indicate, this is a electronic platform, that online platform, they can register this food and drug products. Also, e-phyto system, this is an electronic phytosanitary certification exchange platform. This is linked to the International Plant Protection Convention, IPPC. So they can have a paperless verification of plant health certificates between countries. Also, Indonesia have a Indonesian quarantine full automation system technology. So that is electronic quarantine system as well. Also, Indonesian national single window framework, where they integrate customs licensing and quarantine processes into a unified platform to facilitate trade and reduce those bureaucracy or delay in the customs. Okay, next. Now, I want to talk about some issues. What Korea and Indonesia had some dispute on some products. I tried to show you this Korean ramen here in the right-hand side. It's first one is Shinramen, Nongshim, and second one is Noguri. It's like a udon type of ramen, and here the kimchi ramen, Samyang Food Company, they have a kimchi ramen. Otugi Company have a yeol ramen. It's very spicy. Yeol mean heat in Korean. Yeol ramen. It's a heat, very spicy food ramen. So all those things, ramens, were imported by the company, Indonesian company. It's a Jakarta-based food importer. And the problem was, like a soup. You see those the ramen has the soup, or we call it the paste. Okay, it's a dried powder of soup. This soup includes the ramen includes some pork products, and some religious reasons. Some consumers, or most consumers in Indonesia, they don't want to consume certain animal fat or animal products like a pork. So that it was one issues raised by from the market. Next slide, please. So the BPOM it collected samples from this imported Korean ramen, and they detected this the pork DNA, and this is the it's the exporters or importers of ramen. They failed to display those pork contents in their labeling. So Indonesia, according to their food law and the labeling regulation, this is not the correct. So eventually, and these products must be separated from other products, and no halal certification. So they should be limited in the marketing. Next slide. So what happened to this the instance? There is immediate product withdrawal from the market, and the consumer concern amplified it by social media and news coverage, and this distribution permit was cancelled. So the sale drop is about up to 30% of Korean ramen in the market, and there occurred recall cost, labeling expenses, and the registration fee, something like that. And that is a heightened scrutiny of all Korean food, not only ramen, but kimchi and cookies, and all the ramens are affected by this instance. So since then, Korean exporters of ramen and other products, they are seeking the halal certification from BPJPH. And for instance, Samyang company, food company, they obtained halal certification for 3 flavors of ramen in 2017. So it increased supply chain transparency. So consumers can understand, they can recognize any those non-halal contents in ramen, things like that. Okay, next slide. So now in Indonesia, you can safely, consume Korean ramen free from those concerns. And second case is benzopirin detection in 2018. This benzopirin is one of this carcinogenic compound, and this compound also found in potentially in Korean noodle, and because of that, Korean noodle sale in Indonesia also affected by that. The import restriction was imposed accordingly because those the contents of this benzopirin is exceeding the Indonesia's standard. It's a maximum residue level, MRL, maximum residue level of those one. So 2018, the Korean noodle samples detected by this benzopirin exceeding those Indonesian standard benchmark. So import restriction implemented, the trade effect. And Korean companies, began, product recall accordingly. So after that, we have some talks have communicated between Korean Food Authority and Indonesian BPOP regarding this the standard and their threshold detection method, something like that. So next slide. If you see this table, now this maximum residue limit MRL for the country are actually different. Codex, as I introduced in the previous slide, Codex set the so-called global standard, but individual country can set higher than Codex standard if necessary. So by their domestic, or geographical reasons, or according to scientific evidence, individual country can set their own alone appropriate level of protection, appropriate level of maximum residue limit. Indonesian cases is equal to less than equal to 2, okay, per kilo. But Korea cases is 5, and European Union also is 5. So Indonesian standards is pretty much restrictive compared to other regions or codex. But as I said, this benzopyrene is naturally forms when you have a high temperature cooking. This is not artificially, inserted into food. This is a naturally formed, the chemical. When you have a smoking process or food manufacturing, typical example is what? When you have a grill of meats, you will see this. And roasting coffee, when you have a coffee bean roasted, you will see also this benzopyrene. I'm not a scientist, but I have a limited knowledge, but information tells me that this cooking, or if you use a high the temperature cooking or manufacturing, this is naturally occurred. So also testing method are different between Indonesia and Korea. So these two parties have discussions to talk about that. And we can see the scientific debate. Well, Indonesia, they apply so-called precautionary approach. And we have an international risk-based standard. Precautionary approach means what? Indonesia thought that, they need to care more than international standard, because there is unknown, like current science is not sufficient to verify those potential risks or potential harmfulness of this chemical. So precautionary mean what? Even science said, 5 level 5 is safe, but Indonesia thought that Indonesia people will go more restrictive chemical benchmark, okay, because of this uncertainty. So that is a precautionary approach. If this uncertainty is huge, country may take this precautionary principle, okay, to protect their consumers and their environment. So that was the justification why Indonesia maintained this higher standard on this maximum level for this the chemical. And also methodological difference. Maybe we cannot say this is correct or that is wrong or inappropriate. Maybe this method could be different in scientific testing. So Korean companies argue that this detection limits were unreasonably restrictive, low, unreasonably restrictive, and they are not consistent with international standard. I mentioned about those principles of harmonization with international standard, right? That is a principle of SPS agreement under the WTO system. So Korean side, they argue that it's too restrictive, okay, too restrictive and inconsistency with the international standard. Next slide. So they had a technical consultation between two parties. It's a Korea Food and Drug Administration and BPOP. And in 2019, they come to the agreement that the Indonesia, recognize Korean testing methodology with some additional verification process for high-risk products. So we settle this dispute between these two parties. So Korean manufacturers, they modified it. I mentioned about this processing method, right? Production process to further reduce the benzopyrene formation during manufacturing. They implemented pre-export testing protocol, for Indonesian market requirement. And now, because of that, we have now it's a certification of compliance with these agreed standard. So one lesson we can draw from this experience: harmonizing technological standards or test methods between countries are important. Okay, we understand safety. Okay, we understand potential risk, but more importantly, we also need to understand or recognize those technical differences in protecting human health and environment. Also, we need for robust scientific evidence when challenging asbestos measures. This should be the agreement, asbestos agreement, Article 5. Article 5 said risk assessment is mandatory for any asbestos measures. So it should be risk evidence, science evidence measures. And we learned that from this experience, we learned that there should be, consultation. It's a regular basis, technical consultation between two parties that increased mutual understanding about those differences and the transparency. It increased transparency. So that led to eventually this resolution of this dispute between two countries. Next slide. Now, last one, the case number 3, like a halal certification policy shift. As I said, Indonesia emphasized this halal standard, and this law and their market systems is highly focusing on this halal standard. I have a timetable, especially 2024. Indonesia, this halal certification become mandatory for food. So if you want to sell your products, you have to, provide this halal information for your food products. Okay, and this is all importing food as well from next year. So it's mandatory. If you want to sell your food, agricultural products, you have to be comply with this halal law, halal product standard. So what is the key challenges? You have to label it like a halal logo. That is a new design in 2022. You can find some, the insert of the photo in my slide. And also foreigners, they must have this halal certification to export to the Indonesian market. And during this, because we have a so-called intra-industry trade or vertical integration, horizontal integration, or global value chain, global supply chain. Okay, we have now international trade are highly integrated each other. So this under this comprehensive supply chain systems, this halal aspect must be preserved and well recorded. So they should be conformed or all this verification chain. One example I can think of this halal certification is, Korean cow, Korean beef. In Korean, we said hanwoo. It's a Korean beef, hanwoo. It's like a Japanese wagyu. Okay, Korean beef is extremely expensive. It's a high quality. We believe it's very high quality, very expensive. I can afford to eat this Korean beef probably 1 or 2 times, a month, something like that. And the US beef would like a choice level or prime level. US beef is relatively cheap in Korea compared to Korean hanwoo, Korean beef. So even this is a high premium beef or animal products. Korea exported this Korean beef to the other countries. For example, like the Arab Emirate or Malaysia. Those East the Asian countries or Malaysia, they also look for this halal food. So Korea, we try to develop halal certified slaughterhouse for the cows. So two slaughterhouses got this certification in Korea. So whenever we export Korean beef to Malaysia and the East of the Asia, those cows should be slaughtered in halal certified the slaughterhouse, like a Pyeongchang and like a Gangwon province in local area. So we are safely, export those Korean beef to those other Muslim countries. So that is the new development. According to Indonesia, required those halal certification for their food. So exporters like Korea, who are interested in food export to Indonesian market, we need to get those certification or labeling. We can have to meet this labeling requirement to be exportable to this market. So that is what's going on now, especially this recent standard for halal, like is in 2024. That now many exporters try to comply with the Indonesians halal law and requirement, including Korea. Next slide, please. So company submit the application to the BPJPH for halal certification, and BPJPH assigned this inspection agency to conduct those inspection, and committee council review that that law is done. It's done by BPJPH today, and finally they get this certification on. Okay, next, let me down, please, slide. Okay, and that, as I said, this is also all products, imported products is one. And international recognition as ASEAN countries, it's a ASEAN area, they recognize this halal certification and label. And it is important to have a mutual recognition. Okay, I said mutual recognition. That means the Malaysia, Indonesia, the East Asia, Middle East Asia, they have a different halal the requirement or different halal the specifics. So we need to have mutual recognition. Otherwise, Korea, for example, we export the Korean ramen to Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Middle East, the countries. We have to follow different, even same halal in the large, categories. Specifics are different across countries, so that increase trade cost or compliance cost. So that is a concern. So in the future, probably we need to have more harmonized those are standard for this halal products. And foreign certification body, I mentioned about Korean beef slaughterhouses, for instance. We register with the Middle East countries or Malaysia's the halal. But for Indonesia, maybe this process should be continued. Next slide, please. So the Korean companies, they try to meet this standard various way. Okay, this time limit. Let me skip some slide and I come to the conclusions. Okay, another issues. Next slide, please. Next one, please. Okay, in this year, we got finally this report in the last May. As you know, Indonesia and European Union has the palm oil dispute. This is not SPS. Probably we can have a technical barriers trade TBT agreement under the WTO system. And this dispute, okay, let me skip the detail. You can look at my slide later, or you can look up this dispute and you can visit WTO website. They will summarize this dispute, the background and result. And European Union argued that under the law, like a Renewable Energy Directive second, it's a RED second, they classified palm oil products as a high indirect land use change. In other words, palm oil production or palm oil tree, they changed land use patterns indirectly. So eventually that is not sustainable, or they may have a negative impact on environmental quality or the sustainability. So because of that naming, that recognition, they said, European Union said 7% maximum share of this high indirect land use change risk cap, and they target to phase out those products from the European Union. So Indonesia, they cannot maintain their market share because European Union set 7% as a maximum share of those products, like palm oil products, under this high ILUC. Well, Indonesia is upset about that. They are not happy with this. Would you bring back this slide, please?
Sorry, Prof. I couldn't. Sorry. I don't know. I accidentally close it.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah.
No problem.
It's okay. Yeah. All right, Prof. What? Hey. Wait. Why? No. Okay. Why I can't move? Okay, wait. The palm oil, right? The palm oil, where is it? Oh, no. This one, right, Prof?
Next.
This one, yeah?
Yes,
Oh, next?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
Previous
sorry
one.
about that, Prof.
One page up.
A bit up.
One page up.
All right. This one?
Okay, yes. Thank you. Good. So Indonesia sued the European Union into WTO court on these matters. And as I said, several months ago, WTO finally rule on this dispute. They said European Union, they violate, those Article 2.1 and like a non-discrimination principle. So European Union's this measure is discriminated the Indonesian or Malaysian palm oil to access the European market. And also WTO ruled that this panel ruled that European Union failed to notify these measures in transparent way, things like that. So this rule was in favor of Indonesia. Okay. But next slide, please.
Yes, Prof. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, Prof. I have to reshare it.
Oh, I'm seeing your slide. Can you go next slide?
But I can't read. I can't see I can't see from my side. I don't know why. Share.
I see it
like,
now.
Really?
Yeah.
But okay, Prof. Okay. All right. Yeah. Next slide, right? Yeah.
Next slide.
All right. This one?
Yeah.
All right.
But at the same time, but also WTO panel said Indonesia failed to establish the violation of TBT Article 2.2, okay, and 2.4, etc. So basically, this is in favor of Indonesia, but the European Union claimed that Indonesia did also failure. And Indonesia argued that European Union's measure is not sustainable. It's against WTO principle, things like that. So we still have some debate, but obviously, this is, to my own judgment, this is in favor of Indonesia. But let's see how European Union would modify their trade policies to accommodate these WTO decisions. But the problem is, because of the U.S. policy, like Trump administration, this higher court, we call it appellate body, is not functioning now under the WTO system. So, higher court cannot rule on this issue. Then meanwhile, I think the European Union may not take instant response to this decision. I'm afraid. Anyway, we come to this one again. Probably we can look at those potential implication under this case studies. Okay, Melanie, would you go to the policy implication slide? You can skip all slide. Last slide. Come to all the way up down to. I add some detail on this slide. So, okay, last one. Yes. Now let me finish my presentation within a few minutes now. From this dispute, we can understand some few things. Hopefully, some lessons from that. We need to strengthen the international standard, participation, because we are the member of these international organizations, Indonesia as well. So under this international standard, we need to communicate well. We need to understand, recognize each other, and we comply with those standards. Also, information is very important because transparency, like what European Union and Indonesia's palm oil dispute, those transparency issues is also arose. Likewise, Korean cases, labeling systems. This is very important. We can share the information with consumers by labeling things like that. And we have to emphasize the scientific basis, the response capacity, those testing method, scientific, research, also those the standard setting. We need to, stick to, our best knowledge or best science. Still, this is very relevant. As I said, GMO dispute, or this is also relevant for what the animal welfare dispute. How you slaughter, like halal food versus non-halal food. Ethical. I'm sorry, the ethical consumption. What is the ethics in consumption? That is this. Okay, and also we need to utilize those economic, platform like the FTA, like SEPA, Korea, Indonesia Free Trade Agreement, or RCEP, more broader, or ASEAN context. That will increase our understanding and trade facilitation among the region. That would be win-win outcomes. Finally, we can develop the practical business support tools. So now the good example is Indonesia. I introduced their e-fighter system, also the online registration system. So Indonesia is upgrading their SPS systems more like a more transparent way and more modern technology. The adopted way, things like that. So that is the good development in Indonesia. Next slide, please. So here's just some list of those information. As I mentioned, on top of this, if you have any comment or questions, I welcome to respond to your question and comments through email communication. So do not hesitate to contact me if you have one. As I said, if you are interested in this topic for your country, I'm willing to work with you. So please contact me. We can develop our interesting research topic in the future. Thank you for your attention and listening.
Right. Yay. Thank you so much, Professor Song Solim. Korean noodles are also very, very famous in Australia, Prof. And most of them already have this halal certificate, but given by the halal certificate provider in Australia.
Okay, I see. Good.
Yeah. All right, I'm sure lots of question. Yeah, Zada. First question from Zada, Prof. Share Zada. And next,
Hello,
Dotto. Yeah, Zada.
hello. Good afternoon, Professor Son.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hope you will
Uh,
fine. I have two very like a straightforward question and very short. My first question, do you think that's the when we have pets like cats and other dogs, so how our food is, how much is the probability that our food is being contaminated and how it causes disease to human being? The first question. The second, you mentioned about the fork import to Indonesia and its certification about halal or haram. So, as per my knowledge, from 1994, the fork use was almost 18% in Indonesia consumption of fork, like the pigs, and it's a decrease by 2018. And still, the fork use has been increasing about 15% in Indonesia. So, do you think like if the fork has been imported to Indonesia, so what is the credibility of its like hygiene, sanitation? How we can make it like legally um, accessible, available for every non-Muslim resident of Indonesia
mm,
without any restriction or legal constraint.
mm. Okay, thank you for the question. That these two questions are all very difficult question to answer at my level. The first questions, I do not know the exact, the percentage or those the degree of this hygiene or safety food one, but well, it is very important, as you said, because now we have get into not only the primary products we consume, we use a lot of different so-called processed food and high-tech food now, high technology food. And those technology combined food processing and products. Yeah, that would the what complicated our monitoring system, testing systems, or safety check for all those things. As I during the presentation, as I mentioned about the what biotechnological food or U.S., they talk about this bioengineering food or some like a functional food like a vitamin A fortified it, the like a rice, like a golden rice, for example. We can hear um, much of those things. Like in Korea, for instance, I I wonder if you like a strawberry or not, or tomatoes. You know, we have it's have what treatment, have addition. We add the sugar, the sweetness of those the raw vegetable or raw fruits. So some consumers are concerned about those safety, about those using more the high level of additives or some unknown. It's unfamiliar with consumer side, that point of view, those things. So I do not know exact those proportion, but that concern is increasing over time. And also related to your second question, you know, halal or some other standard as well. Like the Jewish people use kosher food, for instance. Some ethnical group, they have their own promotion of their own type of food. But as you know, here in this country, Korea as whole, we have many Indonesian or Malaysian people, they lived here. So they look for halal food here, even staying in Korea, the preference, consumer preference. Like Indonesia, you mentioned about pork, consumption. There is a non-Muslim in Indonesia or the international people staying in Indonesia. They can exercise their own food preference or demand. Some people want to eat pork, but government cannot prohibit use the consuming of certain type of meat by religious reason because everybody is not same in their taste and preference. So what I think is the best solution is, the consumer's right to know, like labeling systems, certification system. Let the consumer know what food they are eating. So they can freely exercise their right to know and they can right to choose from the market. Only thing I concern is government or legal system cannot force consumer that you have to consume this food only, something like that. I believe this capitalism, freedom to choose from. So consumers have every right to select what they want, but it should be safe. Yes, no question about that. It should be safe. It should be what ethical, because it should not be illegal type of thing. But once the system or government law provide those fair playing field, flat field, competition, so consumers can understand, yes, this is GMO, so they can choose GMO or non-GMO. Yes, this is organic products, so they can trust this labeling. They can choose organic or non-organic. Yes, this is the native species, like it's an Indonesian the apples. This is the Australian apple. They should know this origin of the products, so they can freely choose, Indonesian apple, or with the premium prices. Let system, give that opportunities for consumers, so consumers can select what they want. They can exercise their free will to choose other one. I hope my answer is address part of your questions.
Yeah, actually, I was last Ramadan. I was in a market in Jakarta, so I
Ah,
was supposed to buy meat for myself, sape. So I gone to a market, the meat market, but there was no label that says fork or it's sape. But due to the
Ah,
color, I recognized that's pork. And
ah,
I talked
I
with the the voucher,
I see.
as it fork or as a cow. So he smiled and he said, Mister, ini bukan sape, ini baby. So I understood that's as like that's not her the meat of cow. So mostly there's no signboard. Like I was just curious, being a Muslim and international student, if I
Uh-huh,
don't know about the language, so how everybody can understand it's a fork or it's a cow
uh-huh,
meat.
uh-huh.
So that's why I asked the question. I raised the question.
Yeah, that is very important. I think, it's a more advanced, the society evolve into more advanced systems. They provide these opportunities. Yeah, many different ethnical food in the market, and labeling requirement. So the legal system provide that platform. Okay, it's the origin of products, for instance, the fundamental one, like a GMO or non-GMO. That is mandatory in Korea, for instance. So consumers, it's animal, welfare. It's non-animal welfare, something like that. Or
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
what? Is it
Thank
from the recycled plastic or not? Those information is very relevant for those or ethical consumption.
Thank you so much for
Wow.
answer.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Doto Phillips. And after this, Azam. Yeah, Doto?
Hello, Professor. Can you hear my voice?
Yes. Good to meet
Thank
you
you
here.
for, yeah, thank you for your presentation. Actually, it's very interesting, especially for those who didn't know about this before. But I'm quite have some question, but before I jump to my question, I would like to share a little bit regarding to how this kind of inspection made via my country. I'm
Which
from
country you are
Tanzania,
in? I'm
actually.
sorry. Which country you are in?
Tanzania.
Oh,
Tanzania,
Tanzania.
East Africa.
Okay.
So in Tanzania, we have one bureau. We call it Tanzania Bureau Standard, which is actually one of its job or its law is to make sure that all the finished products should be inspection before going to be used by the citizens. So that is not the case. The point is, most of the developing countries, they always sending the unfinished product to some of the developed country, like maybe importing to Europe or imported to Korea or imported somewhere, so as they can sell it there. For example, I can say about agricultural product, like maybe coffee, or maybe it can be beans or rice or something else.
Right.
So in that point, do you think how this kind of inspection, especially like SPS, can be made through the unfinished product? Because according to your presentation, you always focus on the finished product, which is it can be made by the reciprocity or corresponding countries. So, for example, Korea, we know Korea is one of the leading developing country, and they importing many of it unfinished product from many countries, maybe even Africa. So, in this process, how do you determine or how do you inspect those unfinished product before you use them to make finished product for your made for the best for the businesses or for also export to other countries? That's my question.
Well, you raise a very important issue. Okay, that is a very I think that is a chronicle, questions, fundamental questions about related even development. Because high value crops, high value products is processing. I said production and processing is done by mostly rich countries, and low value or raw primary goods are exported by the developing countries. Okay, so value creation is mostly done in rich countries, and the primary products are exported by those producers, or those developing economies. So that's not okay. The fair in development economics point of view. Okay, and how we can make this value creation remain in the producing the countries like Tanzania. Okay, how they can stay in the country, they can enjoy. Tanzanian farmers enjoy those value creation, not Belgium, producers or French producers, which is something like that. That is a key issues, because the commodity prices is a stay low over the long period of time, or sometimes they fluctuate a lot, or even real price. We call it. We can deflate those commodity price by those price level. Real price is declining. That means what? The exporters of coffee beans, exporters of beef to European market, the farmers' portion is shrinking. So they may not enjoy the benefit of free trade. Most gain is done by manufacturers, processors, or those middlemen or something like that. So that is a very important question, how we can do it. They participate in the global value chain, but their value addition, value creation is so little for farm side. Okay? So we need to, one of the solution in Korea and some part of the countries is like a producers, farmers, they create the value addition by themselves. Like a coffee from Brazil, Colombia, or coffee from like Kenya, okay, Rwanda, they export coffee beans. It's a raw coffee beans to what? Swiss, like Nestle, okay, one of the biggest coffee exporters in the world. But as you know, Switzerland, they don't grow coffee beans. They don't have cocoa. But they are the number one, the chocolate exporters. They are the number one coffee exporters, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that means what? That those countries like Tanzanian farmers, they are able to process, those products by themselves, high quality. It needs knowledge, it needs technology, it needs investment. Initial investment huge. You need to buy the machine to roast coffee. You need to have that knowledge, what temperature, what mix of flavor is make best coffee, roast coffee, something like that. It need investment, R&D. It need a platform for logistics, transportation, and marketing and network. Otherwise, you cannot sell your products. Nobody buy you. Nobody know you, isn't it? But the rich countries, they've been doing this business 100 years. They know network. They know pricing. They know marketing. They know everything, technology. So they can maintain this business as usual. But for us, like poor countries farmers, to have accumulated knowledge, it needs huge investment and their effort. It's not easy task, but I think this is a right to do. It's a right way to do. Okay, so how we can increase this capability, capacity for our poor farmers? That is a key issue. Not only technology, not only production, not only manufacturing. It should be linked with networking, marketing, business strategy, the governmental support, things like that. So that could be all combined. Space issue, high technology, is science, but many farmers lack this knowledge. Or local institution in many developing economy, they don't have that specific knowledge and technology to detect food safety or chemicals, additive. They don't have the device to test GMOs, okay, like PCR testing device, something like that. Why? Because it's expensive. So, that is a very difficult job. How the farm level or community level or local, community level, they can meet the rich country standard, SPS standard. that is extremely difficult task.
Right.
So we need long-term, capacity building, long-term, investment for that. Where does money come from? That is another challenges, right?
Mhm.
We want to do it, but lack of resources.
Right.
So I believe the rich countries need to transfer their technology to developing country. They are willing to share their profit with the primary, producers. I think that is the one of our solutions to overcome our barriers and limitation.
Right. Yeah. And so there is the important thing to have good government for these developing countries, yeah, Prof. For
That is,
developing countries.
yeah, that is very important too, right?
Right. Yeah. All right, Prof. Muhammad Azam, Indonesia, from Indonesia, student from Indonesia, wants to ask you a question. Azam, you want to read your question to Prof. Prof. Song Solim? Azam, are you here, Azam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Just
I'm sorry.
you can ask
It's
Prof. Directly.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the insight, Mr. Aler. And right now, I'd like to ask about a recent case where Indonesia increased SPS inspections on imported beef after foot and mouth disease. We call it penyakit mulut dan kuku in Indonesia, in exporting countries. While the intention was to protect domestic livestock, some stakeholders say the measures caused port delays and higher beef prices. So my question is, how can Indonesia design SPS controls that are both scientifically justified but still efficient, so they protect animal health without creating excessive market disruption? Maybe that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Azam.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. And I should ask the same question to some other Indonesian specialist, not me. And if you want, I can ask around that question to who's specialized in animal, health or animal the disease things. My experience, I visited Kazakhstan, for instance. The Central Asia, they have a different the cow species. They invest R&D center. They study different species of cow or beef products to find out the productivity or the feed, the weight gain ratio type of things, disease as well. And by studying those all different disease or the potential spread of disease or animal related or cow related one, that information is located in that institute, and they continue to conduct their own research to protect from the spread of we call it invasive disease from other countries, like hygiene or quarantine. Indonesia, I think I do not have much knowledge about your animal industry or beef, the sector, but I believe you have your own species as well, like Korea, Hanu, Korean beef species. That the purity or the quality of beef, okay, maintaining those quality and disease-free, the products, extremely important. There's lots of those investment and the people. So I believe Indonesia would be same because you are geographically vast, dispersed. Okay, the one place to another place. How to say? It's a province. Korea is a provincial systems. It's a district. No, so I think maybe you have a pros and cons due to this geographical isolation or island. So maybe you need to design your own suitable system to maximize those efficiency or controlling the potential disease or spread of disease of those ones. I'm sorry, I'm not capacity to answer your question, but I think I hope I can look into that questions in the future.
All right, thank you, Prof. Maybe the last question, Prof, from Amin. Amin, you want to ask Prof. Song Solim question by yourself? Amin, are you here, Amin? Amin? No? Amin, okay. Amin, just ask one simple question, Prof. How can SPS measures protect how can SPS measures protect public health without becoming barriers to trade?
Well, I think if you can justify the SPS measures, because SPS measures supposed to be science basis.
Yeah.
So SPS measures is a legitimate measure. Okay? You cannot say that is a trade barriers, because protecting human health, protecting environment, protecting ecosystem is first. Is more important than free trade. So I think that is more important than free trade. But as I said, we follow international standard, try to avoid misuse or overuse of this arbitrarily measures or disguised protectionism. We need to totally avoid those misuse. But as long as you maintain your science-based measure, SPS measures, or those purity, or those the transparent measures that will promote international trade, like halal food, your halal system will increase trade, halal food trade international market once you have a more sound halal systems. Okay? I believe so.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Song Solim. Appreciate it so much, Prof. This is, I don't know, the fourth time Professor Song Solim contribute to our summer course. And as I promised, Prof, I want to share your photo with the eighth batch, our eighth batch. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. All right, wait. Okay, yeah, this is Professor Song Solim with the batch 8 2024 summer course. Yay!
You sure that was me?
Yeah, and then see again. Yeah, this is Professor Song Solim with us in Puncak. Yeah.
Yeah.
This plantation
Tea
in
farm.
Puncak.
Yeah.
And then this is Prof. Song Solim
Mangrove.
holding this mangrove.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the students.
I
And
know.
yeah, this is us in action, and this is Prof. Song Solim. We're in action with mangrove, yeah? Become the environmental warrior also last year, of course. MashaAllah, that's really fun. We hope that next year's Prof. Lim can join us again, yeah, Prof, as keynote speakers last year as keynote speakers and also as our supervisor, yeah, in the Tidung Island. Masya Allah. Thank you so much again, Prof.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and guys, Prof. Song Sulim, they offer you guys to maybe you have interest with SPS research, collaboration of Prof. Song Solim with the SPS in your country. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a very interesting offer. Yeah, maybe Doto. Yeah, Tanzania. How about SPS in Tanzania? Maybe Prof. Song Solim. You can collaborate with Prof. Lim. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much again, Prof. Hopefully next year we meet again with Prof. Song Solim. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See